So, any of you read A4A? This is our end of the industry, but Airlines for America, the Smart Brief. Does anybody get that? A couple of folks, they get the quote at the bottom. You guys read the quote? It's got industry news, like it might say Southwest got slots at Reagan National, or someone got to deal with their pilots or whatever. But there's always a quote at the bottom. And a couple of weeks ago, I had this quote from a guy named George Jessel. He's an actor, which I didn't know. He was active in the 30s and 40s. Anybody remember him? Maybe he wasn't even that good of an actor. But he had this quote and said, "The human brain is an amazing organ. It starts learning the moment you were born, and it works right up until the time that you get up on stage to deliver a speech." I thought of that as I came to see you guys. So anyway, what I'll talk to today is I'll talk to you a little bit about Alaska Airlines, and JC did some of that, chat about the industry environment. I'll sort of ask, why is Alaska still here? There has been a tremendous amount of consolidation in our business, and it's harder to make it as a smaller airline than it used to be. I'll just talk a little bit about what Alaska is trying to do when we get up in the morning, what is it that we're basically trying to accomplish, and then I'll talk a little bit about challenges looking forward. And with any luck, I'll not spend an hour doing that. I'll do that in 20 minutes or something like that, and hopefully you'll have some questions afterwards. JC, you did some of this. We're about a $5 billion company. We were about a $1 billion company 20 years ago, so we have grown a lot. But the big airlines in the industry have grown faster than us. The Delta, American, United are all 37, 8, 9, $40 billion companies. They're actually very close to each other in that size. Southwest and AirTran, I don't know the number here, but it's also a very substantial airline. Those four airlines have a 90% share of the market. So that's kind of been the effect of all the consolidations and so forth. We've got 13,000 employees. We have about 185 airplanes between Alaska and Horizon. We really like this single platform. It's for us, the single airplane, it has saved a lot of training costs and inventory costs and all that, but it's also been kind of a metaphor for the simplicity that we needed to bring into our business. Airlines used to try to be all things to all people, and it's hard to do that well. And we're sort of trying to simplify and say, what is it that our customers want the most? And let's do those things really, really well and let go of some of the complexity. And so moving to single airplanes at Alaska and Horizon has been quite good for us. We've got 700, 800 flights a day. We've got about 100 cities that we fly to. I think you know that we do fly all over the United States. Our real bread and butter markets are sort of the state of Alaska, state of Washington, state of Oregon, and to some extent the state of California. But that's how I would sort of characterize what we do. So let's talk about the industry a little bit. I think folks kind of know this, but it's kind of worth bringing it all to the surface. If you go back to the 2003, 4, 5, 6 time frame, sort of the middle part of the last decade, this industry really stunk. It was, we had, at one point in time, we had 70% of the seats that were flown in the United States were flown by bankrupt airlines. There were billions, maybe $20 billion of losses by the airlines, 140,000 direct jobs in our business, our own employees as U.S. Airlines. 140,000 jobs were lost. That might, I don't remember exactly, it might be 15% of the industry, something like that. The city pairs that were like less than 500 miles, so this would be, an example would be Seattle Walla Walla or Seattle Yakima, city pairs like that. Like 65% of them lost service. And so it was a horrible time in the industry. It was true then, and I think it may still be true today, but the bean counters in the room, like me, know what retained earnings is. That's just the collective result over time. In the industry, for 100 years, adding all of the years and all of the airlines have lost money. And that's the U.S. industry. Once in a while you'll see a ranking in Fortune magazine or Forbes or something about how good an industry's been over time. And I think a couple years ago we were like 51 on a list of 52 industries, and mobile homes might have been worse than the airlines. That's the sort of thing. Warren Buffett, I'm sure many of you have heard this, but this sort of track record caused him to say at one time that if a good capitalist, if he had known what was going to happen when the Wright brothers took off 100 years ago at Kitty Hawk, he would have shot him down. Because this industry has not been good for people that have put money into it. We had an analyst. One of the things that Alaska has done is we bring people in, and we just ask, typically we don't pay these people. We bring them in and just people that are experts in our space, and we brought an analyst named Sam Buttrick in. Some of you might remember Sam, and he we just said, Sam, you've watched this from a financial perspective, what are some of your thoughts on what we should do to be more successful, more prosperous? He just took the flip chart and he wrote on it T, and Sam was a big guy. When he got up to write, you could see the you know what sort of under the arms. He'd write TIABB. Anybody want to guess what that stood for? This is a bad business. That was what we brought Sam out from New York to tell us. And, so that was kind of the situation in the middle part of the last decade. And you start to put together a plan to say, we don't want to be a bad business. We want to be a good business. Where are we actually going with this? If anybody reads the Alaska Airlines magazine, when you're on one of our airplanes, you'll see that we wrote an article that just went off, but in the January magazine that said, Alaska, since deregulation, which was 1978, we've gone from the 24th largest airline to the 6th largest airline. But I sort of asked people, how many airlines did we pass? Any guesses?
They kept falling away.
And, Bob George said 0. We passed nobody. We've grown from $1 billion. At that time, we probably would have been $500 million to $5 billion if we passed nobody. Going from 24 to number 6. So what happened to everybody else? Merged,
bankrupt,
liquidated, bankrupt. That's what happened to 18 airlines in between. So that's more powerful than anything I can probably say about the industry that we're dealing with. So you ask the question, why is Alaska still here? And there's a simple, kind of a fun story that I'll tell. And Paul McElroy actually helped. He's in our communications department. This is a story I just heard a couple of weeks ago, but has anyone heard about the customer that took 2 tires back to Nordstrom to return them? You guys, everyone hears about the person that takes the 3-year-old shoes. Somebody took 2 tires back, and it was a Nordstrom store in Fairbanks, Alaska. And the story was at a tire store, like Northern Commercial, I think was the name of the store. They moved out, and Nordstrom moved in, and this guy brought 2 truck tires back. Said, I want to return these. And Nordstrom employees had been trained to say that we want to make people feel good. And so this employee refunded the guy his money for the tires from Nordstrom. So the reason I tell this story is, what happened to that guy? Does anybody know what happened to that guy? He got a raise. Is he running? Is that Blake Nordstrom? Maybe. That guy is running Alaska's Hawaii operation. That's what he's doing now. He's been with us for like 25 years or something like that. His name's Craig Trounce. And one of the things I love about Alaska, I didn't know this. It's not like we are advertising it, or now I'm leveraging it a little bit, but it's not like we've commercialized it that much over the years. But I just found this out a couple of weeks ago, and it made me really proud. That's why we're still here. That's the only reason we're still here, because you don't have the same network. You don't have the advantage that a bigger airline. You do have people that care about the company, people that care about customers, want to do things a little bit better. And I think if you say, why is Alaska here? Why have we been able to survive? That's the magic sauce. Okay. So, like, we do things every once in a while. We'll bring our pilots, when a person upgrades to captain, we call it pilot in command, we'll bring them in, or now we're actually calling it 4 stripe. The captain on the airplane has 4 stripes on his shoulder, the first officer has 3. So we have this session called the 4 stripe, or there was, for a while we were doing a program called second in command, but different programs for folks. And we'll just sort of talk to them about what is it the company's basically trying to do. And it actually is not sexy at all, what we're trying to do. We're trying to be safe. So many of you know we had a very difficult accident 14 years ago. So being safe and being compliant is very, very important. We're trying to be on time. And I apologize. I know there's a couple of folks that were trying to fly us home from the Super Bowl yesterday, and we were 4.5 hours late on one of those flights, and a de-icing fluid issue. But this person was very, very nice, and not your problem. And it wasn't our company, but it is our problem. I mean, it's our job to make sure our partners have de-icing fluid. We're trying to be safe. We're trying to be on time. We're trying to offer, maybe in sequence, we're trying to offer terrific service. It's something that we know you guys care about. It's not sugary, nice, syrupy smiles. It's just authentic, genuine service that it feels like a friend or something like that. We're trying to do that. We're trying to offer low fares. That was, for me, that's what 9/11 and what happened in the 3 or 4 years after that taught me, is that people want low fares. And some of you folks are business folks, and you might say, not really. But I'll just tell you, the reality is that the people on our airplanes want low fares. And what we saw with 9/11 is that they will move to Southwest or Frontier or JetBlue or Virgin in droves if our fares aren't competitive. People online with the internet searching, I mean, they hit that button that says sort by price. A lot of folks for a couple of bucks will move to the lower priced airline. A lot of times if you're not on, when they do that sort, if you're not on the first screen that comes back, you don't have a shot at getting the order. So people, that's been something that is sort of profound with us. First class, we talk about that. I mean, if you go back 10 or 12 years ago, of those beautiful first class cabins, maybe one seat we sold at a first class fare.